Hello, it's Carmen. I thought I'd do a little walkthrough of the vocal production for Gam Sel because it took a really long time and I felt like it's at least one of the more interesting parts of um, this track to talk about. This is quite chaotic, so do bear with me. So initially, when we were first working on it, the idea was to create a sort of chopped vocal sound, and I immediately thought about one of my favourite producers of all time, Yasutaka Nakata, who is the producer for Capsule and for Perfume, and just all around really cool producer. Very, very unique, recognisable style. And one of the things that he does really well is this like robotic sounding voice that still sounds very like real. One of the ways in which I did that was that I chose to, instead of just relying wholly on effects, I recorded each syllable or each set of syllables individually, which was a really grueling process. This was the one that I did for the demo, which I'll play for you now. Is this how we had to be again? You brought me back like this. I don't know what to say. So that's that. The major effect that you're hearing doing a lot of the work on what's making it sound so unique is the pitch shifter, which if I turn the mix all the way up, the pitch is exactly the same, but I've moved the formant up, which kind of makes it sound nasally but doesn't change the pitch. And then layering that together, we get this. So that was like the foundational idea of like the tone of that section. And you can see here I've recorded like every syllable individually, because I didn't want it to sound like all of the syllables were linked together. I didn't want it to sound like a perfect comp. I wanted it to sound robotic and like it was stopping and starting in weird places. You're also hearing this just blanket auto-tune that I put on it, which I really love using that effect where you just chuck it on and you get these like very weird, uncanny kind of moments where the vocal just suddenly shifts. So that's on that as well. So then obviously we recorded the finished vocal version, which took ages. It took so long. It was the longest part of the recording process by far. It took a whole studio day, and it was just me with the mic at the desk at What Studios, recording the entire thing on my own. And it's basically the exact same situation here. You can see I've recorded each syllable separately. You gave me all that shit, I took it all away. I was happy with my life. But yeah, so basically did the exact same thing again. So had to completely redo the process I already did in the demo version, which took ages. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then after that, it was all of moving each take around to get it to hit at exactly the points I wanted it to, or if I wanted it to sound a little bit weird and like off kilter, like move it slightly out of whack. And then lots of like chopping the ends off of syllables like this, like where you hear that really quick end. If I solo it here, like doing that to add to that effect of it sounding really robotic. And it's really just a feeling it out kind of process of deciding like which bit should sound one way or another the whole way through this section. Did that, and then we've got literally just the same thing. It's just a blanket auto-tune to the notes that I wanted to hit. Just the way it's kind of wiggling around a bit in a really uncanny way, which was intentional. That's what I wanted to go for. Once I'd gotten that part of it the way I wanted it, I moved back to Soundtrap to add some extra processing to it. So you've got 2 layers here. The first is like the natural tone. Is this how we had to meet again? You brought me back like this. So it's a chorus on it, and this really like harsh low cut to kind of create the idea that it's, I think in my mind I'm hearing it being played out of like a little toy keyboard or something, like, you know, those little shitty speakers on like kids' instruments. Was kind of the tone I was going for. And then that's layered with that formant thing that was in the initial demo. Don't care how hard you thought it was, you gave me all that shit, I took it all away. You can see, like, by all of the effects I've like put on and then taken off when I've just been messing around and trying to figure out what works, and I've just left it there. But yeah, it's the exact same thing again. It's the pitch shifter, but this time I've basically completely separated both of those so that I had more control over the tone of each individual aspect of it. And then same thing here, really harsh low cut and a bit of random EQing, which probably looks like it makes absolutely no sense, but I'm sure it made sense to me to do that when I was working on it. And then I added the very slightest little bit of reverb, because basically the effect I wanted was that more nasally tone. There's kind of a reflection off of it when it's played with the natural tone. I don't care how hard you thought it was, you gave me all that shit, I took it all away. And then you'll hear in the finished version, we balanced out both of those tones, and obviously it starts out with the natural tone, and then that formant altered layer comes in as the beat kicks in, and yeah, that's how I produced the vocals for Gam Sel.